Hello everyone, welcome to Sam Cafe, where we share our lives and faith stories while drinking coffee. I said in the first video that I would talk about coffee and the sacrament in next video. So this and the next story will be about coffee and the sacrament. Today's story will be the introduction, and the next story will probably be the main body. Today, I would like to mainly talk about celebration. To drink coffee every morning, I do the following series of actions. First, I pour water into the pot and turn on the switch. While waiting for the water to boil, I grind coffee beans, which have matured so well and have reached their peak of flavor and aroma. Remember that you need to use a burr grinder to grind the coffee beans into uniform size particles. Then I pick the dripper I want to use and place it on the drip pot. The dripper I'm going to use today is called Gono. On this dripper, I place a paper filter. Sometimes the filter doesn't fit the dripper well. In that case, fold it properly. When the water boils, pour it halfway into the kettle. Then pour it on the dripper equipped with a filter and into the cup for the coffee. The reason for doing this is to preheat the drip pot, dripper, and cup. The taste of coffee is very sensitive to temperature. So I do this to keep the coffee hot for as long as possible. And at the same time, it is to get rid of the paper taste out of the filter. Then I put the ground coffee in the dripper, flatten the top, and pour water at 90 to 95 degrees in centigrade. In Fahrenheit, 194 to 203 degrees. The coffee then soaks up the water and rises. Do not pour too much water at this time. Make sure that the ground coffee is soaked, but the amount of running water should be less than about 5 cc per serving. Then you can see the surface of coffee swells up like this, and the gas spurts out. After about 1 minute, I do the first extraction. And then after about 45 seconds, I do the second extraction. Based on one serving, I extract 30 cc from the first extraction and 15 cc from the second extraction, a total of about 50 cc. I pour the extracted coffee into the preheated cup and add about 100 cc of water to adjust to my preferred density. Then I sit by the window and watch the rising sun, or sit in a comfy chair and meditate, sipping my coffee slowly. Perhaps some of you find this process very cumbersome. If you drink instant coffee or coffee mix or use a coffee machine, this process and effort will be greatly reduced. People don't like hassle. But for me, this series of actions may be called a ceremony. Even though it's just for a cup of coffee, this is a time to give thanks to countless people who have worked hard for make this coffee possible for me. At the same time, it is time of celebration to give thanks and praise to God, who has given me life and health, so that I can drink this coffee and is still leading my life by giving me motivation and purpose. Friends, it is very important and meaningful that we celebrate our lives. By celebrating it, I am grateful that my life has made it this far, and I am giving meaning to my life in anticipation that my life will continue to be more beautiful in the future. This celebration gives me the strength to run toward the future. In fact, our lives are a series of celebrations, and celebrations are the driving forces that keep our lives moving forward. Did you know that we are constantly celebrating as individuals and as a community? We celebrate birthdays of family and friends. We celebrate wedding anniversaries and other important occasions in our lives. We also remember the day the people we loved passed away. That is a kind of celebration too. When we celebrate, we do some things together. We share certain foods, light candles, sing or dance together, give flowers or gifts, and so on. By doing these things, we are celebrating together. Last September 24th, I was invited by a Jewish friend to attend their Feast of Tabernacles, called Sukkot. The Sukkot is a feast of Jewish people, which they remember the 40 years of living in tents in the wilderness after Exodus from Egypt. Give thanks to God for the year's harvest and celebrate the beginning of a new year. That day, we celebrated the Sukkot by eating Jewish food, singing together, and sharing our stories together, etc. Through this series of acts, we celebrated our past, present, and future together. My friends, it is very important and necessary that we celebrate our lives. It is a celebration that I do this series of actions to have a cup of coffee. It is a celebration of my unique life given to me. It is a time of celebration where I appreciate my past, rejoice in the present, and give abundant meaning for the future to come. I start this day with a celebration because This day and the life given to me are gifts that God has given me today. By celebrating our lives, they become a wonderful blessing. Don't you need a celebration like this? Friends, why don't you join me in celebrating this day and this life God has given us with this coffee?